My angels, we are going to church today. Okay, we're going to church if I can get this candle lit. Why are we going to church? Why, Autumn? Because my loves. Because my loves. I was so funky today. Oh, hang on. We're going to church because I had to preach myself freaking sane today. All right? I had to break a threshold, and I'm not sure if this is going to take the rest of the week. I don't know what. Can I tell you what's happening? Thank God for breakthroughs. Thank God that, this is a holistic channel. We don't separate the spiritual and the practical here. We just accept that they are one and the same. Let's just ring our bell because it's story time. Okay. Hang on, let me get my chair in here too. All right. Sometimes when you are alone, okay, and this isn't like this kind of alone, play your violin. This is like you really are. Like you really are. Anyways, I'm not saying that you have to be feeling really isolated or be isolated for this message to be for you, but what I am gonna tell you is that this message is for you if you are experiencing having to stand in a place by yourself where there is nobody around you who can encourage you in the way that you need. Okay, hold on. I'm in England. I have to drink tea to just calm myself. All right, my loves, I am going to just read off the page for you because it was all going on today. It's been going on since yesterday. Since my last post, something set in and my brain started to think thoughts, and I feel like I'm feeling you and I'm feeling me. And I told you this week was about coming into this space and being here for you because that's all I want to do is encourage you. But let me tell you what encourages me the most. Somebody who's been through some explaining to me how exactly really did they get through. The picture that came to my mind yesterday was odd. It was like if you took a balloon that hadn't been blown up and you cut it across the top, right? Maybe cut it and doctored it up a little to where you could flatten it out. All right. And you were somebody was holding that material like in their hands, right? And then all of a sudden somebody comes along and have you ever seen those big marble balls? They're decorative, but like somebody comes in and just drops that into this rubber band. It's not a rubber band, it's like a balloon. You know that elastic, God help me, somebody, I'm sure you're thinking of the word. I can't think of what it's called. Anyways, that is the picture I had yesterday. I was like, okay, maybe I'll find that and I'll do that on my channel. I'll show you. No, I don't have those things and I can't find a giant marble ball today. But here's the message that I am going to give to you. And I had to write it out because it was just, okay. If you are fatigued, if you are feeling a fatigue, but you can't quite put your finger on it, like it's not your normal fatigue. It's something else. I want to tell you it is something else. You are not fatigued. You are crossing a threshold. This is not the kind of channel where somebody's like, I've got all my together and I'm just going to tell you how life works. Okay. That's not what this is. This is me in it with you. I'm telling you, I know that like attracts like. I know that you are watching this channel because you are a leader. You are up for it. You've been through storms. You've been knocked down. Oh, yes, you have. You've been knocked down. You've been betrayed. You've been hurt. You've gone through some stuff, but you got back up. And sometimes you just crawled your way through the next door or threshold or whatever, but you're still alive. And because you've been to hell and back, you are grateful for that. Like, I'm grateful just to be alive. Of course I am. But here's the thing. It's more than that. You have been venturing out to go forward. You've been trying to take steps forward. You've been doing your best to just take what is that story in the Bible? Here's a few leftover pieces of bread and I'm just collecting the leftovers. I'm just bundling them up for you, God, and I'm bringing them, and whatever here, I'll just take what I have and I'll try to go forward with this, right? Beautiful. Beautiful. Truly. I just want to stop for a minute. But you're walking and you're like, okay, now pause there, because you have been there for a minute. It's been months, if not years. I feel like this message is really for people who over the last year have just been like, in England, we have an expression called like wading through treacle. Okay, that is emotionally what it has felt like to do what you're doing right now. If it's inner work, if it's work with trauma, if you've been going and letting God dig deep and doing the work of like, oh, this is my own childhood and I've got to take responsibility for it. I've got to heal from it. I've got to forgive people. I've got to try to do my best to show up for my children because they still need a leader, right? Okay. I got you, babe. I got you, brother. Listen, I am so spicy today. All right. This is a different moment you're in. This is a different moment that I've been in. Here's what the Spirit revealed to me today. Endurance training. I've been talking to you guys about stallion energy. Okay, what is that? It's like separating the ponies from the stallions. I'm talking about where you have decided to put behind the childish things and strive towards maturity, okay? It's about getting to the place where you're not just doing fits and starts anymore. You are really putting your hand, you're understanding the concept of investment. You're not willing to just spend your pennies everywhere anymore. You're not willing to just like let your heart be taken for a ride by whoever would like to take your kindness for weakness again. It's just not that anymore. It's something else. Okay, now let me read this to you. Shut up, Autumn, and just read. All my thoughts. I wrote this for you. All right. Endurance is not built at the finish line. It is built in the miles that no one applauds. I am not a long distance runner, but I have been a runner all my life. And I know that there is a certain place that your mind goes to every time you run, okay? When you first start running, your body resists. Your lungs burn, your legs protest. Your mind searches for reasons to stop every time, looks for those excuses. But if you stay with it, and you've done this before, you know that at about 5 to 10 minutes, depends on the runner, something changes, all right? Your body adapts, your breathing steadies, your muscles learn the rhythm. You don't get stronger by avoiding resistance. You get stronger by staying inside of it long enough for your body to recode itself. There's so much going on with muscle memory. All of this, you guys know it. This is how leadership is formed. Many people think that leadership is proven in moments of acceleration, growth spurts, breakthroughs, platforms. But leadership is actually revealed in moments of sustained pressure. Side note, I have just been through a very challenging couple of years where I have not done it perfectly, but I have been tested in moments where I've had to make decisions regardless of the injustice or the lies or the attacks that were coming at me, gossip, misunderstandings, assumptions, disillusionment about it, deflections against me, right? All hell trying to break my spirit. I have had that moment, not a moment, a very long season where I truly think that some of the things that I went through would have killed someone else, or maybe just put them into a mental hospital. Anybody? Have you been there? This is so funny, but this is just coming to my mind. If you're watching this and you've been through that kind of a season, put a fire emoji in the comment section if you have been through hell and back, all right? And what would have broke other people did not break you by the grace of God, all right? Okay, you kept showing up. You showed up when there was no dopamine left to carry you through, where even the vision that you had was fading into the distance and you forgot why you were doing what you were doing, all right? This is endurance training, and this is what we're talking about today. My angels, let's be real, okay? There are people that you're like, and there's people that you're not like. My channel is probably going to attract people that are more like me, because otherwise I would probably annoy you. If you enjoy having a victim mindset, I would probably annoy you. If you feel like there's nothing you can do about life, it just happens to you, this channel would not be for you. If you feel like you've got it all sorted and there's no room for growth, don't bother. Truly, that's not my experience. That's not my brand, okay? The humility and humiliation that a leader has to endure sometimes is not something that can be described. It is character resistance. Having to choose to tell the truth when other people choose to tell lies. Having to choose to keep your faith, right? When other people tell you you don't even deserve to have that faith, right? Choosing to not judge other people when you have been judged so wrongly. Showing up and leading your children when other people could care less what's actually happening to them. My hat's off. My hat is off. You are a standard bearer. Okay, what does that mean? You have been hardwired with a value system and a method of operation that you don't really understand where it came from. You'd probably say you've been like that all your life. You would probably say that for a long time in your life, you would have described yourself as judgmental, yourself as critical, okay? And then you would, if you've really been through the fires, you would say there was a moment when God allowed that judgment that I was holding up, that lovely standard, to just backfire on me, to just bring me to my knees, so that that beautiful level of integrity that I choose to walk in is never held over other people's heads, that it does not become self-righteous, that it breaks all self-righteousness in me, because that's not the point of the standard, right? You're now at the point where you kind of have been like, okay, I get it. I just got to run my own race. I got to run. That standard is in me first. And even in that standard, that's not about my own righteousness. Okay, my universal truth. In Christ, there is a righteousness that levels the playing field. Okay, that his righteousness is put on us. We do not try to provide our own self-righteousness lest we be false gods, okay? Lest we be self-justifying rather than taking responsibility, right? That's what the cross is about. It's about taking responsibility for guilt, okay? It's about entering in with security and identity from above that says, I will lay my life down. I will lay this standard down even, okay? And the exchange is the righteousness of God that comes and it covers us. And what does that even mean? It means we have to use that standard against ourselves, and we don't use our standard against other people. What comes out the other side of the cross in this moment of leadership formation is true humility, true perspective, all right? So you keep running, but you you are just allowing that standard to be between you and God. All right, I decide that I am going to tell the truth whether anybody's watching or not. I decide if I'm going to do my dishes whether anybody's coming over or not. I decide if I'm going to put myself together whether anybody cares or not. Okay, that standard just gets alchemized into compassionate, beautiful fuel. All right, I don't know if I'm explaining it the best, but you get the point. All right. Okay. All right, if you're still watching, this is my new thing because I really kind of wish I could talk to you guys. I want you to put in the comments one of those like fist bump emojis, okay? Let's do the fist bump. All right, my angel. Mwah. I got you. Fatigue does not mean that you are doing something wrong. It means you are crossing a threshold. There's a certain kind of tiredness that comes from hype, right? You push hard, it's like that sprint, it's enthusiasm. There is a different kind of tiredness that comes from responsibility. Okay, you just crossed a threshold from enthusiasm to responsibility, which is huge. You have entered into truly the Edenic mandate of your responsibilities becoming a joy and a delight to you. Now, it's not just that simple, okay? The earlier moments of running, the earlier seasons of starting a business or starting a relationship or whatever new endeavor you're doing, they are fueled by enthusiasm. They're fueled by adrenaline. Okay, the later seasons are fueled by discipline. And discipline is not punishment. It is capacity. Do you remember how I told you I had that picture in my mind? That was a picture of the Spirit saying, this is what it looks like when I am stretching your capacity to hold this beautiful thing you prayed for, you asked me for, you want to manifest that, right? That's your biggest dream, but I'm doing it. Oh, I'm preaching to myself. I'm doing it, but I have to make you capable of holding the blessing that's coming. All right? Okay. I hope you don't feel like I'm shouting at you. I'm not. I'm preaching to myself, and I want you to get this into your bones so you can keep going. Okay, there comes a moment in every runner's journey where your body says, okay, enough. But if you stay with the pace and you've done it enough times, something takes over mentally. You discover that you were never running on your strength alone. You thought it was your muscles, but it was your mind. The systems where you learned to breathe a certain way, okay? You learned a certain posture, and you learned a rhythm. You have crossed a threshold mentally, and you know you're going to be okay. You don't like it. It's not nice, but you know you're going to be okay. At that point, a different kind of neurological encoding is happening, where you start to realize that once you cross the threshold, you get to make a new one. That's learning your own psychological endurance, okay? Leadership matures in the same way. At first, we lead with passion, but later we lead with structure. And eventually, this is what my aha moment was, eventually I will be able to lead with wisdom. I want to just talk about the hinge moment here. You might be at the threshold where you're like, I don't know, I'm really feeling disoriented. I do have my systems in place. I do have my rhythms, but what's this feeling of disorientation about? You're in the middle. This is where I was most impressed today. I'm not saying it feels good. It doesn't feel any better knowing this. It's just knowing it helps me know I'm still on the right path. All right. You're still on the right path. It's when the exhilaration fades. I am built personally for high risk. I'm built for kind of adventure. I'm kind of built to hold that standard up, but also to take new ground. So it takes a certain kind of, you got to have courage. You got to have the desire to take risks, or you have to develop them if you don't have it. And that can be learned as well. But naturally, I'm hardwired like that, which means I am a bit of an adrenaline junkie. It means I'm chasing dopamine a little bit sometimes. Plus, I was diagnosed with ADHD years ago, and that's a different dopamine issue. The point being, who the hell are you when none of that's going on? What decisions are you going to make when there ain't no dopamine being released anymore? Because it's not new, right? It's that in-between place. That's the place where disorientation sets in, okay? That it can feel like you've almost lost your calling or your vision, or are you even thinking straight? That's the place I've been in for the last, I don't know how long. I've been in it for a minute, but it's really been coming to a place of almost panic in the last 24 hours, maybe more. All right. Your calling, my calling, has not left us. It has deepened, and it is deepening. Okay. We're not being trained for speed anymore. We're being trained for distance. Of a tree. All right. When a tree is growing, you guys know this, the bigger and the farther reach it's going to have up here in our 3D, right? The deeper the root system has to be in order to anchor it and hold it. Okay. I know this is a classic picture, but it couldn't be a better one. It's literally the creator's thumbprint and design. Okay. So in endurance running, there's a moment that's known as the wall. And it's when your stored energy runs out and the body has to learn to access a different fuel source. Do you know where I'm going? I feel like you do. Okay. If there's an emoji that has like a fuel can or a, I don't know, some kind of gas petrol emoji, put it in the comments. All right. This is where, or you know what would be good, or if not, if there's not a petrol can, like water or something, because this is where the deeper those roots go, they are breaking ground and threshold, not out here in the 3D, but down where most roots won't go. But the deeper you go, those roots access deep reservoirs of water. Okay, and that's the second picture I had. Now, what does this mean? I'm going to tell you. Spiritually, this is the crossing over point. It's where you stop relying on the affirmation of others. It's where borrowed vision no longer satisfies. It's where you have to learn to metabolize your own authority. Pause. This is where many people quit. Not because they're weak, but they don't know they're transitioning. If this is the next word that I got. If you are being honest, you've always known that you had a capacity, a leadership, a vision, something about you wasn't quite like, not normal, but you know what I'm saying? There was more in you. Like, it's going to take some kind of outside in grace to pull me into that. That kind of mark on your life, it is a calling to leadership. It is a calling to hold vision. It's a calling to pioneer. It's a calling for courage, okay? And if that's true, then you would have also prayed prayers or sensed that you wanted to manifest whatever was the most in line with your insides, with that capacity. All right. Okay. And because your heart is big, you have to have a big heart to carry a big vision. Okay. If it's a God thing, if it's a destiny thing, you have to have a big heart for other people, because a big vision is always connected to other people. You would have been amazing at supporting other people. You would have been the biggest encourager, the person who you could rock up to any job anywhere and you could build somebody else's thing. So with such a pure heart, such pure intentions. Okay. But here's the thing. The frustration that you've either already felt or you're feeling now, or I'm coming to just confirm to you, is that if God had left you to it, you could have hid behind all of those other people's leadership, their visions, their whatever, or another mentor's thing, and other people's platforms, behind other people's prophetic words. And what you're feeling now is not rebellion, it's maturation. You are no longer being satisfied by outsourced authority. You're no longer being sustained by borrowed clarity. Oh, this is why I said I'm preaching to my thumb. All right. You're being asked to stand in your own lane. And this, get ready. This is the fatigue of ownership. Ownership. I talk to you guys all the time about taking land, right? You're taking the land that God has given you, the promised land, right? You're taking it, but the fatigue of owning it is exactly what you're in. It is really strange and disorientating when the fuel that you ran on before, that your little brain knows so well, like as a comfort place, it no longer satisfies you. Okay, the sense of needing somebody to come and tell you what you're doing is okay. I get it. I literally get it. But it doesn't, you don't even want that anymore. And even if you did want it, you wouldn't go have somebody else give you that affirmation, because you're in a different place now, and you cannot afford to be knocked off your path anymore. So if you did go to somebody and say, is what I'm doing okay? If you did seek that outside affirmation, you would be yielding not to God, but to the fear of man, right? Because if they say to you, if you need their affirmation and they say to you, oh no, you shouldn't go into that area, right? That you sense deep inside of you, that could jeopardize every single thing that you've worked for, everything you've worked for. The old fuel has dried up, and it's disorientating, and it's lonely. It's lonely. It would be so nice for somebody to come along and encourage you. You guys, can I have a little moan? Can I? Because tell me if you ever think like this. I'm not going to say I don't. I can be strong, and I can be a leader, and I can absolutely feel sorry for myself sometimes. And here's what goes through my mind. I have sowed seeds of love and encouragement to others. I have sown seeds of trying to encourage other people into their own authority. I have laid hands on people and set them into leadership positions. I have taken fear off people. I have delivered people. I have absolutely championed through my own blood, sweat, and tears what is best for other people, selflessly, truly, with a pure heart, not for any of my own gain. I have worked without pay, without value, without any kind of reward. All right. Now, that is true. That is nothing but true. But when I go into these moments of really feeling the weight of what's happened, what I feel like I reaped was not that. And in moments where I'm really, truly struggling, I'll feel like, why is there nobody in a 3,000 mile radius of me that would want to come and encourage me, to support me? Why doesn't anybody see that I have 3 kids I'm trying to lead through this, and I am literally just out of school. I was retraining, blah, blah. Like, I will be like, where's the harvest of the love and the encouragement I give into other people? Truth. And it is justified in my head, because I'm like, that's like the law of, why, God? Why? Don't they see my heart? Like, I truly, oh my God, it's painful. But here's what God tells me. I need you to know that I am the rewarder. And I will give you what you've sown. You are going to reap what you've sown. But not in the time that you think. All right? And then he tells me this. I know that you've suffered. Okay? Christ suffered far more than I've ever suffered. But what I need you to know is that the feelings that you have felt, the places that you have been, the darkness that has come upon, all of those things. I know that in this moment that it feels unjust, but I need you to be able to understand other people. I need you to be able to understand what it feels like to be betrayed. I need you to feel what it feels like to have no explanation why somebody wouldn't love you back, because you've just been good to them, and you would have stayed, and you're so loyal and blah, 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 trustworthy, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I need you to understand what that feels like, because you're going to be able to heal people's hearts, many more people than those that you've lost, with what you've felt, with what you've endured. Okay. Now that is a message for somebody who, you know it, if you know it, you're just like, I don't, and then you grieve because you don't know how to reconcile it, because it's like, am I ever going to understand that? No, maybe not. And you have to give yourself closure, because nobody else is coming to say sorry. Nobody else is coming to say, oh, I missed that one. Nobody is coming to say, oh my gosh, I was so wrong about you. You are lovely. Nobody's coming to say that. And then your brain is like, how can people leave things like that? I can't understand. I could never ever sleep at night if I knew that I had hurt somebody. I could never do it. But that is me. All right. Now, having said that, so why am I sharing all of this with you? Because I need you to understand the true spiritual fabric of endurance. Endurance is, do you keep going without closure? Do you keep going without people saying they're sorry? Do you keep going without being understood? Do you keep going without being affirmed? Do you keep going without having a reward financially for what you sow into the world? Do you keep going? Do you still have the vision? Do you keep going when the vision is like fading out and you can't even remember? You don't know where you're at and you can't remember. You don't totally know where you're going. Do you keep going? Okay, endurance is not impressive when you're actually in it. It's not the sexy bit, okay, but it does develop people who cannot be shaken. And the leaders who last are not the ones who are burning brightest in the beginning. All right? They're the ones who learn how to breathe, how to find the rhythm, how to pace, and how to keep going, even when nobody is watching. All right, so my encouragement to you today is that you are not behind. You are not doing anything wrong. You're not losing your mind. You're in the bit that is just sheer showing up power. There's no shortcuts here. And I don't know if it will be a consolation to you, but it is an encouragement to me to just know that this is the bit where what's being formed in me, I'm finding the deeper reserve. I'm finding a deeper sense of my identity in this. You're not behind, you're not failing, and you're not fading. You are being trained for distance. Now, let me just connect this for a moment to what is, in my universal truth, the long game, all right? Christianity is in crisis. It is in deep confusion, all right? It is having its own identity crisis, okay? And the people who are being trained for distance right now, you, me, whatever, people who are interested in conversations about faith and science and politics and governments and things going on in the world, this is not just about us. It is about carrying forward for the next generation something that will last, something that they can show up for and actually have security in, something they can anchor into, find rest and shade. And can I say this? Something people, you, me, who have shoulders strong enough that they can stand on our shoulders and get the hell on with the wonderful things that God has always had for this world, right? We just have to decide if we're willing to be those people or not. I hope that my boob wasn't just showing for that. Okay, my angels, I hope you find that encouragement today deep within. I'm here to support you all the way through. I love you, and I'll see you next time.